Hey everyone, Brandi Wright bringing you a quick video on 1031 exchanges. So a properly executed 1031 exchange allows investors to reinvest their proceeds from any income producing property sale, and it also allows that investor to defer any capital gain taxes associated with the sale of that real estate. Now think of Uncle Sam as your, in fact, uncle. He gives you an initial cash loan to purchase your first investment property. A few years down the line, you decide to sell. And instead of your Uncle Sam, asking for his investment back with interest, he says, you know what, you did such a great job on this investment property. Let's go at it again and go make me some more money this time. Now, you can continue to do this with your uncle over and over for as long as you'd like. So the actual structure of 1031 exchanges are obviously very complicated. The government is involved here, right? However, they don't have to be so complicated and so scary. 1031 exchanges boil down to 7 basic requirements. The first basic requirement is held for. Any property that is held for use in business, trade, or investment may be exchanged as an other income producing real estate. This includes single family homes, multifamily, so condos, townhomes, apartments. It also includes commercial, raw land, water, air, and mineral rights in some states. And Colorado is one of those states that acknowledges rights as real property. Let me give you an example. Let's say in a few years, my daughter decides to go to CSU, go Rams, and I purchase a 3-bedroom home. I rent out 2 of those bedrooms to her friends for $800, and I rent her bedroom to her for $600. Now, taking a look at the situation at first glance, I've actually disqualified myself for a properly executed 1031 exchange based on the premise that I'm giving my friends or family member a discount off of fair market rent. However, if I can quantify that discount with a service or trade that my family member is providing me, it is perfectly acceptable to offer a discount on fair market rent or renting to friends and family for full market rent without a discount. Now, how do I quantify that discount? Well, one way I can quantify it is, let's say she's taking care of the landscaping for me. So for $200 a month, I'm paying her a discount of $200 on her rent for her to mow the lawn, pull the weeds, and keep the rock beds clean. Say it's a pretty fair deal, right? Let's move on to another scenario. Let's say this year being quarantined has really left me wanting a beach investment house. I can purchase a home in Hawaii and have it qualify for a 1031 exchange, even though I plan to use it for personal use. Let's say I rented it out for 200 days in the year in 2020 and I occupied it for 19. It's perfectly acceptable. As long as you occupy your investment property for less than 10% of the time that you rented it, you're good to go and still qualify for a properly executed 1031 exchange. Our second basic requirement to a properly executed 1031 exchange is the 45-day identification period. This rule states that by day 45 from your previous closing on your sold property, you must do one of the two: acquire and close an all replacement property, or properly ID in writing your intent to purchase replacement property. The guidelines for your properties that you've ID'd in writing are 3 properties regardless of value, or as many properties or as little properties as you'd like, so long as the total of all combined properties that have been identified in writing do not exceed 200% of your sold price on your original property. Now keep in mind, these days count weekends and holidays, so the clock is ticking. The next basic requirement to a properly executed 1031 exchange is the 180-day exchange period. This rule states that you will be allowed up to 6 months to close on all your replacement property so long as you've properly ID'd your intent to purchase replacement property by day 45, again in writing. Revisions can happen on the original properties that you've ID'd, but you want to make sure to work with your real estate team to properly submit those revisions in writing. The next basic requirement to a properly executed 1031 exchange is to hire a qualified QI or facilitator requirement. As I just said, this step is required. This person must be a disinterested party to the real estate transaction. It cannot be an agent that the investor has worked with in the past 2 years. And this is not just limited to real estate agents. We're talking about investment bankers, CPAs, etc. The QI's role during the exchange process is to prevent the exchanger access to the proceeds from the real estate transaction. This prevents a denied claim. It's best to use a reputable QI company that does this day in and day out. Think about it. They're going to be holding your proceeds from your sale until you purchase your new property and filing paperwork for you. You really want the best on your side here. You can expect anywhere from about $600 to $900 for a basic straight across exchange. If you need a good referral, please feel free to reach out. Next up to your properly executed 1031 exchange is the title requirement. Really simplistically put, the same taxpayer that sold it must purchase it. So, what this means is that the same taxpayer, whether you used your business or your personal EIN, TIN, or social security number, is the same way that you must take title on your new investment properties. Our sixth basic requirement to your properly executed 1031 exchange is reinvestment. Cash plus debt relief equals your reinvestment goal. Let's say I sold my home in Fort Collins that I purchased for my daughter for $400,000. I don't have a mortgage on it. However, I do owe out of that $400,000 closing costs. We'll say $30,000 between recording, title, and commissions. My reinvestment goal is now $370,000. However, let's say I want to take $20,000 of that proceeds and pocket it. I can do that. That is a common misconception of 1031 exchanges, that you must reinvest 100% of your proceeds. You do not have to reinvest 100%, but please be aware for any income that you do take out of the transaction or the exchange will be taxed as income. You'll want to work with your CPA to understand the full cause of the liabilities and what to expect. If you need a great referral for a CPA, please feel free to reach out. Our seventh and final basic requirement to your properly executed 1031 exchange is act prior to closing. The exchange must be established prior to closing on your original property that you're selling. About 3 weeks is the minimum, but more time is preferred. The other side of the transaction also must be notified prior to closing. The bottom line here being that 1031 exchanges are complicated, and there are several other exceptions that I did not list in this video to not bore you. The best tools for success is to arm yourself or partner yourself with the right real estate team. You want to loop in a qualified lender that works with 1031 exchanges frequently, a title company that does the same, a qualified QI company, and a real estate agent that has experience or education in 1031 exchanges. If anyone you know or yourself is thinking about purchasing or selling an investment property, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to answer any questions you have on 1031 exchanges. And don't forget, referrals mean the world to me. I would be honored to serve your friends and family. If you have any questions or your friends and family, please feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching my video. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.